Welcome to Ecomm Cowboy. This is D2C's daily show where we believe ads are not bad, ignorance is expensive, and the American dream is alive and well on the internet today. It is Thursday, April 30th, 2026, in the year of our Lord. We're coming to you live and in living color from an undisclosed location in the beautiful hills of Austin, Texas. We're brought to you by Seguno, Postscript, and Incense, and we have got a jam-packed show for you today. Recharge acquires Skio for 105 mil. Mega breaking news. We're going to dive into the story of this that has just been released on the timeline. Meta ads now officially have AI connectors, and that means you can manage all of your ads now from Claude and ChatGPT without the worry of getting your account nuked. That being said, some operators are still waiting to see. X is launching the most ambitious advertising platform rebuild in its 20-year history. Are you not bullish on D2C and Ecomm in 2026? If you're not, you better be. If Elon can put a man on Mars, he can surely make one of the best advertising platforms on the interwebs. We're going to dive into it. We have got Josh Payne, partner at OpenSky and founder of Onward, who's going to be joining us, as well as Nabeel Azeez, old school money Twitter copywriter G, who has been recommended by Cernovich and SaaSwiz and all of the likes, founder of Dropkick Copy and Copy Skills, who will be joining us. As always, I am joined by my partner in crime, Colin Doherty. Colin, get in here. Get inside this show.
Unbelievable day.
Unbelievable.
JP Morgan stock up 1%. Just thought I'd say that.
Is it really?
It is. It's up 1%. Let's go.
Wow. I guess no news is bad news. Very interesting. Very interesting to say the least. Now, we have to get into the breaking news of the day. I thought it was going to be Meta ads, AI connectors. It is not, ladies and gentlemen. The timeline story of the day, the current thing, is Recharge acquires Skio for 105 mil. This story comes to us by way of Oysen O. Who is Oysen O?
He's the CEO of Recharge.
He's the CEO of Recharge. Let's go, Oysen. My company, Recharge, just acquired Skio for 105 milli. This is the largest private acquisition in the space ever.
Let's
just
go.
5 years ago, I got a crazy phone call that nearly killed us. Here's a story I have never told anyone before. Do you want to hear the backstory of the largest private acquisition in our space ever? Do you want to hear that?
Let's do it.
We got the juice. In 2011, I started Recharge out of my apartment with my co-founder, Mike. We wanted to build for entrepreneurs. We had one idea: let merchants sell something once and then again on subscription. What happened when we launched shocked both of us. At the time, subscriptions didn't exist on Shopify, so we built a simple widget. Pause here. I actually remember these days because I was building a subscription business at this time. Not an easy thing to do. Actually charge people multiple times. Not an easy thing to do. You had to go by this way and that. Anyway, Oysen and Recharge built the tool and came on the scene. We scaled it into the third largest Shopify app in the world. But in 2020, I got a call that changed everything. It was Shopify. They told me, we're building a subscription product. My stomach dropped. Shopify was making the right move for merchants. At the same time, it was devastating for Recharge. Do you remember this, Colin? I don't remember.
I remember this. I remember this exactly where I was.
What was going on? I don't remember what was happening at this time. I don't remember this even being debuted or displayed.
This was like early 2020. This was massive. This was during COVID. And then basically everybody thought that Shopify subscriptions was going to take Recharge out entirely, but now they're coexisting perfectly and Recharge has totally pushed through it.
Everything we spent 6 years building was being built internally by Shopify. Not only that, we also had to rebuild our entire product because Shopify was changing their checkout. Merchants were frustrated. I was having multiple panic attacks a day. I went to the hospital twice. My Lord. But Recharge somehow made it through. We rebuilt and reinvented the entire product in 2 years. While we were rebuilding, 15 competitors showed up. Wow. Just a
Brutal.
few. One of which was named Skio. And here's a picture of Skio raising 3.7 million to help brands on Shopify sell subscriptions. On the surface, I hated them. We'd launch something and they'd ship it days later, but make it better. Deep down, I secretly respected the hell out of them. I saw a younger version of us, same intensity, same obsessive care for the customer on a different timeline. We just kept competing, feature versus feature, but the game just changed again in a crazy way. Automation AI agents. The same way Shopify changed everything in 2020, in 2026, AI just did it again. Here's what most people miss about AI. It's not magic. It's just pattern recognition on data. Ask ChatGPT how to reduce churn. You'll get a specific answer, a generic answer, because it doesn't have data on your business or tens of thousands of other subscription businesses. That's why today is so exciting. Together, Skio and Recharge have the most data on every cancellation, every retention win, every failed experiment. This allows us to create the world's most powerful subscription intelligence. Example, intelligence that can tell you when a customer is going to churn before they do. That's kind of crazy. But before we keep going, I mean, give me your take on this. I think he makes a good point here on AI. It's not, I mean, it's not magic. It's sitting on top of data and making pattern recognition examples and then feeding them back to you. You got better data, you get better responses, better intelligence, better outcomes.
Absolutely. And I think over the past couple of years, Skio's done an amazing job at building out a really substantial, robust product. And I think now, as you are integrating that within Recharge, they now get to have the vast data layer that Recharge has had over the multiple years they've been in business. So now imagine a world class product now has multiple years of world class data, and you just combine the two under one roof in one company, and it's all within one specific niche about subscription. You have basically built a subscription powerhouse of where am I going to go to for subscription news? Well, obviously, I'm going to go to Recharge and Skio because they have all of the data now. Unbelievable move.
I will say this too. I have spoken with Aiden before. I was working with a friend of mine who had a subscription business and on Skio at the time, or sorry, was on Skio, migrated to a different product, not Recharge, migrated to a different product to save a few bucks. And it was a nightmare,
Yeah.
nightmare, nightmare. Within, I mean, I'm quite serious. Within a couple of months, we were back on the phone talking with Aiden. Aiden, can we come back? How long
Yeah.
would it take? How long will it take for us to get back? You know, I wasn't involved at the time when there was a move away, a pivot away, but something was broken and not right. And very quickly, the move was to get on the call and talk with Aiden and say, please, sir, help me get back on Skio as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
World class product and team in my personal experience. Back to Oyson here. Here's what we are also realizing: 20,000 merchants, 100 million subscriptions, 10 billion interactions. Just
Wow.
a little bit of data. Just
Just like, just think about that for a second.
crazy.
20,000 merchant subscription data. When you're going to launch your subscription business or you're going to launch some form of subscription, imagine how many kind of errors or pitfalls you can avoid just by having that backing of data behind you instead of just
Wild.
going into it blindly. It's unbelievable the amount of data they've ingested.
And I'll say this: in this era of AI sitting on top of the data with the product
Exactly.
that they have, if they can tell me, hey, survey says these customers right here likely to churn. in the next 7 days. Let's send them a new offer.
Yeah.
Let's give them a personalized email. Let's put a free gift on your next monthly bag that you're going to receive. If they can execute on that, I mean, talk about a like business changing, landscape changing opportunity, especially in the context of 2026, where we know that there is big dollars to be had for businesses with predictable growing LTV, subscription underneath it, great product that you can show growth for. I mean, this is really big for Ecomm if they can deliver on this. I mean, am I crazy?
No, this was the promise that Ecomm and AI and subscription was all supposed to bring into one. And they potentially have the ability to execute and fulfill on that promise of exactly what he's talking about here, fixed churn of my top 10% customers. And it just happens because
Yeah.
there's so much data being ingested into their artificial models. And
Mm.
it sits on top of such a data layer that you can basically just pull out 50, 60, 100 different use case examples of previous customers exactly like you and say, actually, you should be doing this. We've already seen this from multiple customers over the years. You should just do this instead. Look, we trust me, we have the data. I'm telling you, just do this. And you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah. Oysen says here, knowing what to do doesn't matter if it never gets implemented. Totally fair. Think fixed
Exactly.
churn on my top 10% of customers, and it just happens. Now that's nice. That's
Sick.
nice. If we can say that, fix churn on my top 10% of customers, and it just happens. That's the move. That's
And
what
then
combining recharge and Skio unlocks.
And imagine you are the CMO in that seat and you just report that to your CEO where you just say, "Hey, by the way, I just fixed churn on our top 10% of customers. I look amazing now. Our
Yeah, for
CEO
sure.
loves me.
For
I look
sure.
like the man because Recharge and Skio just unlocked all of that for me."
Yeah, and talk about like what a tool for retention. Like if this can
Yeah,
happen, I mean, the Superman marketer is only further enabled and strengthened. I mean, this is
absolutely.
pretty wild. That's what combining recharge and skill unlocks: the best intelligence, where we can tell you what to do when, and then the best real human service team. Aha!
It's true.
The best real human service team that implements these changes for you, the merging here of service and software. We are already seeing that this is what our customers want. Right now, nothing changes. If you're on Skio, you stay on Skio. You keep your CSM, you operate the exact same way you have. The Skio team and platform stays with you. If you're on Recharge, you stay on Recharge. To our merchants, this only matters if it makes you more money, more retention, more done for you implementation. Hold us accountable to that. To the Skio team, we are excited to build together. Crazy.
Crazy. Crazy. You love to see this. This is so good for the community. And just like he said there, the implementation team, I've personally dealt with the implementation team at Skio, and they are world class. And so to bring all of that together under one roof, you are really building a subscription powerhouse. I cannot emphasize this enough. And the trends that we've seen from subscription brands like Gruns, like Create, like Marsman, where
Yeah.
basically subscription is the next frontier for investable consumer. If they can be at the forefront of this, the amount of dollars and VC dollars that are going to be funneled into Recharge and Skio as a result is going to be unbelievable. It's going to be an unbelievable number.
Now tell me this. I have questions about the real human service team. I have questions about this service element. I have never worked specifically on Recharge or Skio. We were trying to get back to Skio. Early days, my subscription brand, we were using something, something from way back when. I think it's called Moon Clerk. But anyway, tell me about this. Tell me about this customer service element. I mean, I think the vision here, what Oysen is projecting, and I think is very winsome, is, hey, here's what I want. Here's what the AI says. I need this to happen. And then it happens. It looks like the service team is involved in making that thing happen. I mean, is that how you're reading this?
Well, the service team is really just there in case you need additional help and information.
Okay.
They're willing to get on a call with you in a moment's notice for a 15-minute call and just walk you through everything and really handhold you through that experience. No questions asked. And at their scale and the level that they're already doing in revenue, that's pretty unbelievable. You can get a hold of them almost within, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and you're on the phone with them basically that day for the
Wow.
most part.
Wow.
And you can't say that for most other companies where they're willing to extend that level of service at the scale that they are.
Exciting days.
Huge.
Largest private acquisition in our space ever.
Huge.
Momentous day on the back of a number of brands having been recently acquired, purchased as well. Is there a better time? Is there a better time to be in e-commerce selling widgets and services and things upon the interwebs? I think not. I think we are in the good old days right now, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is the time. If you want to go big baller shot caller, you are fully empowered in 2026 to get crazy with it. And we suggest that you do so.
Next story of the day, which I thought was going to be our lead story, but we had to jump on the Recharge and Skio ship. Meta's ads AI connectors are now official. This comes to us from Yoni, everyone's favorite Facebook Meta representative on Twitter. And now you can officially manage your ads via Claude and ChatGPT without the lingering wonder and worry, is my ads manager account going to get completely nuked? This comes to us from Yoni. Your AI tools can now create, manage, and analyze Meta ad campaigns directly. No API setup, no coding, no developer credentials acquired, no approved app that we have covered before, as Will Bailey told us about when people were getting all their ad accounts nuked. Meta Ads AI connectors are live in open beta. Our ads MCP server connects your preferred AI assistant like Claude, ChatGPT directly to your ad account with full context. Every response is grounded in your real data. What's live today? Reporting, pull detailed campaign performance insights, campaign management, create and edit campaigns, ad sets, and ads via natural language. Thank you. Nobody likes looking at that ads manager. I mean, it makes me sad. When you get in there, you look at that thing too long, boy, it makes you sad. I'd rather chat with Claude in natural language. Catalog management, create catalogs, add product data, troubleshoot feed issues. Awesome. Signal diagnostics, access signal health data to prioritize your setup. Help, search Meta Business Help Center directly through your agent. Excited about this, Colin Doherty?
Super excited about this. This is just the path forward. This is the next step. Ideally, you are out of that ads manager because you and I are in full agreement. It does not make you feel good. It makes you feel sad. The UI makes you a little bit angry most times. If I can just talk with Claude or any other large language model in plain English and get my ads live and get some reporting as well, that's the final piece of this. Is if I can go from 0 to live ads fully baked out and then get the reporting almost automatically within a scheduled task inside of Claude, and it's super easy. The UI is super easy because I get to do it in Claude. That's the final form. And hopefully I see Meta playing nicely with this because they know that these are going to be key players in the space. And so it's kind of a necessary evil for them. They can't just hold all of this side inside of Manus. They have to be willing to say, hey, okay, we're going to work with Gemini, or we'll work with ChatGPT, we'll work with Claude, and here you go. Here's no banning anymore.
I really kind of wonder, why not force everyone to go over to Manus? I know they're like a little different. I mean, it seems that they're a little different, like Manus, Claude, a little different. But I would think if I was Zuck, I would say, hey, like, we've got great optionality for you now. You don't ever have to log into the ads manager again. You just got to use Manus, big boy, and bring your $200, bring your $5,000 a month over to Manus. I mean, why not force everyone? I think I would probably try to force everybody.
Can't do that. The adoption rate for ChatGPT and Claude is already too great. And so now Meta is just playing where we're just going to insert ourselves into the conversation of people that are already winning. And so ChatGPT and Claude are winning this large language model race. So why not just play friendly with them and get this thing locked in there so that people can actually deploy more ads and spend more budget as a result, which means net revenue is going to go up for Meta. They need it because their stock got hammered yesterday, down 8%.
I thought the earnings are up, 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 and up. I thought everything
Not
was
everybody.
rosy over there.
Not Meta.
Interesting. Second tweet, official Meta representative here, Jason Yim, said something very similar, included a screenshot of the Meta Ads AI connectors down there at the bottom. Alex Griefeld asked this question, which is what everybody is wanting to know, and still D2C operators holding out on. Next tweet here, Jack. So they won't nuke your account anymore if you do this. And the answer is no, they won't. They won't. Now there are there are people who are still waiting and seeing that are a little scared of that. I was very pumped up and positive on all of this. I think it's incredible. Barry Hot, not so much. Barry Hot was a little, Barry had some things to say. Bring us to Barry's tweet here, Jack. Barry had some things to say in Yoni's replies here. I was kind of like, Barry, come on, man. Wow. He said, I appreciate this update, but feel like this is just a part of a Meta coordinated PR machine. Feels inauthentic, forced. Did each of you have your own AI stylize the corporate bullet points? Or did a PR person or bot give this to you to personalize this?
Spicy.
It's a little spicy from Barry, who does get spicy on the timeline every now and again. Yoni did reply to him very cordially. 5 Roaz had this to say. He replied in the comments and he said, seems to be working fine. His video was of him like clicking on the link and it not working. So anyway, this was obviously a little sarcastic, but I will say some extremely bullish cases. Tori Rowe had this to say: everything has just changed.
I agree.
I agree. I totally
agree.
I'm very excited about this. Brian Cano as well got like 500,000 views on this tweet. Release their ads MCP CLI today. If you use Claude or ChatGPT, you should install this ASAP. Resources in the comments. And then he reviewed the points and gave people some help on what to go install right away. DDC Profit, he's holding out. DDC Profit, like I said, some people are like, wait and see here. He said, I personally would be very cautious in giving Claude or ChatGPT the ability to edit your ad account. I mean, I hear you. I hear you. So much can go wrong. Not really much to gain in being a first mover here. I think that's fair. I think this is it's a fair take. But as anyone who has worked in advertising, operated in the ads manager before, made creative, uploaded it, changed the copy, clicked all the things. I mean, you can literally spend 50% of your day just dinking and dunking inside of that ads manager. Drive you crazy. I mean, you want to go and touch some grass. You got to, lest your eyes glaze over and wall themselves in, and you bore yourself. You bore yourself. This I think is great for the one-man brand, the Superman marketer. Reporting, analytics, changes, etc., all in one place and space, quickly, easily, and not like we talked about with Dean Ginsburg, not spending 80% of your time on execution and only 20% of your time strategizing. My hope is that this helps flip that ratio, and marketers, brand founders, people inside and making their living on making meta ads go up and to the right can spend more of their time on the strategy side, flip that ratio, and spend much more time strategizing and less of all of their time dinking and dunking inside of the ads manager. I think this is very positive.
Yeah, just give me Mythos. Let me plug that bad boy up into this. Come on. Come on.
Mythos has been doing some things. There was some news on that this week that Mythos already been out and making some hay and causing some causing some chaos.
Have you seen the trading bot that Claude has launched?
No, there's a trading bot.
Claude gave Mythos the ability to trade like real money. And it
Okay,
started with like $10,000, and I think it's already up like to $1 million.
stop. Really?
It's from the Claude's account, and it's pretty unbelievable. They just gave a update yesterday, and they were like, we started the account with like 10 grand, and now it's up to like 1.5 million. And you're like, golly, what are you guys cooking over there?
Well, maybe this makes me a little more bullish on UBI. Let's just give the stock market to Mythos here, and
Let them cook.
let him cook, baby.
Let them cook. You're good to go.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to see more about that. We have got an intense news day, platform updates out the wazoo. Meta, X, TikTok, Instagram, everything. We're going to get into it. But before we get into more of it, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Seguno. Seguno is the only marketing suite that lives entirely inside of Shopify, ladies and gentlemen. What does that mean? It means your email, your reviews, your banners, it's all there where you work and play every day. And it means that you don't have to trust your email data to overinflated big email. Your Shopify data is your email data. Okay. Your Shopify data is your email data. This is email 3.0. And it's a big reason why Seguno got the 2024 Shopify Build App of the Year. One-click automations, actual humans that can help you. If you don't have a full-time email marketer on your staff, Seguno was built for you. Lean teams with big aspirations. They've just released the advanced Shopify segmentation playbook. Go and get that. It is live now. Go test drive this platform for free. Tell them Colin I sent you. I think they will give you an extension to 30 days. Many thanks for Seguno being part of the show. Now, we have to talk about, I think, the story I am most excited about for this entire episode today, and that is that X is launching their most ambitious advertising platform rebuild in its 20-year history. I'd like to read some of this, Jack, and I'm just going to scroll through and give us the highlights. Colin, you tell me what you think of this. Reflecting the boldness and speed of innovation that defines both X and XAI. X is completely rebuilding its advertising platform from the ground up and has begun a phased rollout of the new platform starting April 2026. The new ads manager is built around 3 core pillars to help advertisers launch better campaigns faster with stronger ROI. Simplicity. Can we get an amen for simplicity? Yes, we can.
Amen.
Simplicity. An intuitive AI-powered platform to make campaign creation effortless and precise. Number 2, unmatched control, giving advertisers full control and speed. Superior AI-powered performance for stronger results, faster optimization, precise targeting, and AI-powered relevancy. This transformative upgrade introduces modern retrieval and ranking systems powered by the state-of-the-art AI. Understand user behavior, much deeper level, enabling more precise, relevant, dynamic ad delivery. Shift toward AI-driven contextual and semantic advertising will bring meaningful lift in relevance, engagement, ROI. Advertisers are going to see a sleeker, modern design with planned launches for further improvements. Quote here from head of global advertising at XAI, Monique Pintorelli: very few companies would have the ambition and technical courage to completely, I totally agree, actually. I totally agree. Very few companies would have the ambition and technical courage to completely rebuild their entire advertising platform in such a short time frame. This is classic X and XAI. Bold, fast, focused on building something substantially better for advertisers. We're designing this new ad stack to enable more rapid and seamless integration of ongoing innovation. Advertisers can expect a smooth delivery of continuous improvements and regular drops of new features. We're looking forward to working closely with our partners as we roll out this next gen platform. Colin, your thoughts on this? Are you bullish on this?
Gosh, how could you not be bullish on this?
How
This
could
is
you
so
not be?
exciting. Jack, could you also pull up that other tweet that I put in there about Connor retweeting this? This is super exciting because he actually put some teeth into the data around what they've already been doing on X as well for advertising. You can't get more excited about X right now with everything they're doing and all that they're rolling out. If they actually bring a really simple, low cost CPM to the rest of the market, this is amazing. Here we go. This is Connor's tweet.
Read it to us.
We'll spend almost 9 figures on ads this year, and X is our fastest growing channel. In Q1, our spend on the platform was up 362% year over year as ROAS improved 27%.
Wild.
I'm telling you, this is such a viable ad platform. If they're going to improve this even more, and Connor is a true performance marketer. He is the head of paid at
CMO at Ridge.
Yeah. Yeah. He got bumped up to CMO. CMO at Ridge. I mean, one of the best companies in the space that is doing all of the most innovative things. If they're taking a shot on this, if they're taking a bet on this, one of the things that I really, really like is he references Meta's earnings call yesterday. And he says one thing is clear: CPMs are going up. So
Always.
CPMs are always going up, and if you see X offer a lower CPM alternative to everything that is Meta's doing and everything that is Google's doing, if this can be a viable channel, and I can actually put maybe 10, 15, 20% of my budget towards X and just kind of duplicate everything I'm already doing, this is really exciting for me.
It's very exciting, and I totally agree. When you see what's happening, if you're advertising on Meta, CPMs are only going up forever. That's
Yeah.
the case. That's the case. Okay. And a lot of our industry has been born, BORNE, born on the wings of Meta only forever. And in this new phase, this new era of e-commerce, I just don't think that can be the path for everyone forever anymore. It cannot.
It can't be.
And if you want your business to get bought, one of the things that people want to see is that you are diversified with your advertising. You're on multiple platforms, so there's not great risk. What if like Meta folds in half? What if your performance goes away? Does that mean the business folds up? So I do think that this is incredibly smart, and what I will advocate for and ask for, just the same way that Connor is here. And just the same way that we saw ChatGPT and OpenAI not do, is Elon, Nikita, give us cheap CPMs, baby. If you can bring CPMs down, if they can be significantly less expensive than what Zuck's rising costs are, than what is available in other places and spaces, then there is a hungry D2C consumer-focused e-commerce community that will spend millions of dollars now. They will spend it now. They
Ferocious.
are ferocious, hungry. They'll spend it now because they want eyeballs and conversions. If this can happen, and I know that it can. Why?
Yeah.
Because if Elon can put a man on Mars, he can make the next best ad platform available on the interwebs. He can do it.
I mean, I put a man on Mars. Why can't he? It's so obvious he can do it. Meta's already laid the groundwork out for him. And you said millions of dollars. I think it's way more than that. It's hundreds of millions of dollars that could be shifted in ad budget to X. If you give us a feasible, really clean design, we touched on it a little bit with the Facebook Meta API inside of Ads Manager. You get sad inside of Meta Ads Manager. There's just a sadness that overcomes you where you're like, I don't want to be here right now. This isn't fun. Everything just went to draft. Okay, I have to rebuild everything. If you can make it an actually enjoyable experience and make it easy for us, to give you money, you're just going to explode. This thing is a rocket ship, and someone is just right there, and all they got to do is they just got to press that button on low CPMs, and boom.
Kaboom.
Yeah.
And I think the great example of this is AppLovin. with its simplicity of
Exactly.
what it takes to launch an ad. Get involved, launch an ad. You can be running ads inside of an hour, and then just the whole interaction. It's so simple. It's
That's
so
it.
simple, and people are making money hand over fist. You can scale up to $100,000 per day inside of a week. Okay, so I think AppLovin is a great example. I'll say this: 2023 was TikTok Shop. That's the story. 2025 and continuing to grow in 2026. Whatnot. If you're asleep on Whatnot, wake up. Okay, 2025, early 2026 is Whatnot, and let me say, the next one that's coming is X, baby. It's coming.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it. I believe it. I believe that this is the best time in e-commerce that has ever existed, and this endeavor from X is a great example of this. I'm bullish, and the Ecomm community, to all of our X friends, is hungry and ready and willing to spend those dollars. And I think Connor at Ridge is a great example. They're already doing it, and their performance is going up and to the right, and they're only dropping more cash because there's a lot of eyeballs and opportunity to be had.
Huge. Let me just rip subscription inside of Recharge via Claude, and then I'm just ripping on X. I'm ripping X ads, baby. Build me that X MCP tie-in to Claude, and I'm just ripping Recharge subscriptions. Let's do it.
Can you? I mean, just it is it's significant. There's a lot happening and a lot changing right in front of us right now.
Could you just imagine if all of this stuff was around when we were building, how much like easier it would be? I just remember spending like hours building ads.
Yeah,
You remember how long it took just to like build an ad?
It's the worst. You spend your whole day doing it. You just spend your whole day dinking and dunking around in there.
And then and then somebody in the C-suite would be like, I don't like it. It's not really on brand. And then you're just like, oh, cool. All right, I got to restart the whole thing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Let me undo the first half of my day. Yeah. Great.
Great. I wanted to do that.
Sounds good. We have got Josh Payne, partner at OpenSky Ventures and founder at Onward, coming to join us right now to bring his mind and his view on what is happening all across our space to the show. But before he does, let's talk about PostScript, ladies and gentlemen. Focus is an amazing thing, is it not? Yes, it is. When one focuses obsessively, you get outsized results. That's why when people make the switch from whatever SMS partner they're working with to PostScript, who only does SMS ever, you see an average plus 22% increase in revenue. And PostScript is the only partner whose endeavor is to make SMS your #1 revenue generator. Now, I didn't see that much. Not 22%. I saw a whole lot more. We went from making very little money on SMS to being a top 1% account on the entire platform inside of a year. How did I do that? How did that happen? The secret is I just did what they said. And what they're saying is that the conversational report is available right now, directtoconsumer.co/the conversational report. There's a huge amount of money, stacks to be made when your customers text you back and you leave them on red, or even worse, you send them an autoresponder, go email us at blah, blah, blah. PostScript's new AI shopper can have one-to-one conversations at scale with your customers, brand voice appropriate, brand knowledge appropriate, and get them across the finish line. Go to PostScript, talk to them, test drive AI Shopper today. Many thanks for them being part of the show. Now, we have Josh Payne coming to us right now. He is a founder turned investor. He's done this and that and everything in between. And his view and knowledge of what is happening across our space, perhaps in his own portfolio, maybe he'll tell us that as well, is going to be excellent for us, especially if you've got a company that you hope to get bought, acquired, and scaled to Mars someday. I'm talking about the one and only Josh Payne. Josh, get in here. Harry,
what's up, fellas?
Josh, man, we appreciate you making the time and joining the show, brother.
How you doing? I feel short next to you on this video.
You know, it's okay, man. It's okay. Everybody's got a different camera setup, and we respect that. We respect that, Josh. Josh, man, I would appreciate it if you would give our audience just a little origin story, backstory on you, brother, how you got to where you got today. I mean, you're a founder turned investor. Man, you've seen so many businesses, and now you guys are deploying capital. And man, you've got a view that most of us don't have. How did you get here, man?
It's been a long road. It's been a long road. I started my first company in 2011, so almost 15 years ago.
Wow.
We were a B2B marketplace powering commerce for media brands. It was sort of like first of its kind back then. We raised a little bit of money, less than $1 million, and scaled that to 9 figures over the next decade.
Incredible.
And yeah, it's kind of an interesting way of we got profitable, really early on, and just had this sort of different mindset on how to run the business, which I called seed strapping, as opposed to bootstrap. There's bootstrapping and there's raising a ton of venture. We kind of found the sweet spot in the middle. And it's one of the things that I actually advocate for as an investor today is raising the right amount of capital versus as much as you can. But anyway, ran that company for a decade, sold it in late 2020, stayed on for a year, and then actually hooked up with Josh Resnick, who had founded a consumer brand called Sugarfina, which is a darling at that time, high-end confectionery brand. And he was an investor in my company, StackCommerce. And then we hooked up. He was doing CPG. I was investing in Ecomm enablement. Actually, speaking of PostScript, Alex and Adam worked for me. Alex worked for me for like 70 years. Adam worked for me for 3 or 4 years. Yeah, I was one of the first checks into PostScript.
Wild.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Way to back
That's
away.
incredible, Josh. You guys lore here, brother.
They're a part of the Stack Mafia, as I like to call them.
I love that.
And started, so we started OpenSky in 2022 as a future of commerce fund. So doing something really unique where half the investments were in consumer, half the investments were in what we call like commerce infrastructure. So it's a really different approach, investing in pre-seed and seed. We wrote 30 checks over the next 3 years. Just finished up investing in Fund 1, out of Fund 1 last month. And now we're raising Fund 2. And just going to be doing the same thing, but more of it.
Incredible. Josh, could you talk to us a little bit about how you're spotting some of these winners? I mean, I'm looking at your portfolio now. Unbelievable talent in here. Sienna AI, Outer Signal, Set, is it Set? The nicotine
Set,
guys?
yep. The nicotine pouches, yep. Shoplifters in there
Oh!
on the B2B side. Yeah.
You guys Set too, Josh?
Magic Mind, Haven, I mean, Feel Goods. It's just unbelievable the names that you got in here. How are you finding these winners? You just talked about PostScript. You bet on PostScript super early on. That's a crazy good shot called. How are you finding these guys?
Golly.
Yeah, I think I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I've been doing this for a little bit, and I think the big just like being an operator. Like one of the things I've prided myself in is that the companies that I run, I'm on the ground. I'm boots on the ground all the time, and so I think I just have a good sense of the pulse of the network, and I think. Having done a lot of angel investments, Josh and I both get referrals from founders that we've worked with in the past.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's a lot of founder referrals. It's a lot of networking and putting ourselves out there like this. And I've done deals with a lot of these people, and so now they're starting their second company, a different company, and coming back in that sense.
That's incredible.
Outer Signal is about to go on a generational run. Run. They are going to Mars. I mean, do you agree? I think so.
I do agree. They're really special. One thing that you can tell that's special about Outer Signal is that rarely do you find brands posting organic social accolades about their service providers, about their vendors.
100%.
So rare.
So rare.
And people will just be like, dude, Outer Signal, holy shit, this is so cool, right? And like, I think Magic Mind is one of the one that comes to mind where they found out Kim Kardashian was buying product through Outer Signal. So she was buying, I think,
really?
Through her assistant, under her assistant's name, but it was like getting shipped to the house. So then, Outer Signal found that. Magic Mind shipped her a box, and she posted on Insta and was like, "Thank you so much. You guys are great. I love Magic Mind."
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Super bullish on that team and everything they're doing over there. I mean, that's an example of a company that is just going to absolutely explode. I know that everybody wants to say, hey, I love my portfolio deeply. Everybody's equal. I love everyone equally. Do you have anybody in your portfolio you are particularly fired up about every morning? You get out of bed and you're like, God, I cannot believe that I got into that one. I am so excited about them. Your first love. Maybe your first love.
No, I mean, look, like like you said, I mean, there's, we try to love everyone as equally as we can. But no, look, I mean, I mean, people are certain brands or certain portfolio companies are moving faster than others. Let's say, I think on the consumer side, one that we think is doing incredibly well is Fishwife.
Exactly. I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, but, I mean, yeah, and I remember when Becca came to us. I can't remember exactly how we met her or how that deal came in, but I remember telling Josh Resnick, because he's more of the CPG guy, and I was like, look, I think this, I kind of said it was better for you tinned fish, which isn't very sexy, but I was like, I can't think of anyone doing this, and the branding is just so on point. It's just so unique. It's so authentic, and they've just been on a tear. Opening up a category that really, I don't think anyone was looking at. A very unsexy category, I'd say.
It is very unsexy. It's very,
yeah.
But there's something about that. There's something about that, like hipster branding. It makes me feel like everybody in whatever cool sector of New York, whichever one is the best, it's like they're like uber happy to pull out this like sexy looking canned tinned fish and pull that baby out because it looks like art. I mean, it does. It's got like status to it.
It's really cool. The guys at Set, as you mentioned, really, I think when you look at venture and kind of like what's going on, a lot of it is form factor innovation, right? Like, so AG1 was crushing, Grunes came along, didn't really do a lot different. It was just form factor innovation, right? So they put AG1 into a gummy, right? And it blew up, right? So one of the form factors now that we think is already doing well, but I think it's going to 10x from here is pouches. Pouches, to me, seem like the next big thing. Like where gummies are today, I think pouches will be in 18 months.
Yeah,
maybe.
Give me all the pouches. I'm down for it.
Yeah, it's big in Europe. It's big in a lot of different places, and I think it's going to continue to grow.
Well, Josh, I mean, let me ask you this. I totally think, I mean, I agree, like pouches are here to stay and everybody loves them. Zens, like there are fewer Zens being bought. I think that's because there's so many like other awesome products in pouches that are being bought. But can you do things with it that aren't nicotine? I mean, that aren't like kind of like, feel like nicotine, betterment, focus, etc.
That's what we're seeing now. I mean, the first one after nicotine was caffeine. Now you're seeing nootropics. We're talking to a brand that does electrolytes, vitamins, right? Like actually one of the brands we talked to has one called Free, and I was like, well, what's that? And he's like, it's nothing. And I'm like, why would it? I was like, why would it? It's nothing. It's just a pouch with no benefits, no flavor, no nut. And I was like, why would someone? He's like, just for the feel of it.
Wow.
Okay.
Just give me a pouch full of peptides, honestly, and let me bet on that winner with all of the money I have. Do you have, speaking of betting on some of these winners, do you have something where you have a story where you maybe talked to a company? The biggest one is Gary Vee always talks about he missed the initial check going into Uber on their initial seed, and you were like, oh gosh, I totally passed on them and I totally should not have. Do you have one of these stories where you're like, oh gosh, I just didn't see it, and then a couple years later I'm like, oh dummy, why did you not see that? That's such an obvious call.
We passed on Chad. We passed on Grunes. At a 10 million valuation, $10 million pre-seed valuation.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts.
Oh my god.
He had just launched. He had launched days before, maybe a week or two before, and it was sort of like, I don't know. You know, the big thing is sometimes you're too practical as a VC, meaning like, what do I like or what do I want, right? And so like when we looked at it, we were sort of like, well, I think what we missed was number one, Chad was incredible. Like you're just a beast of a founder, right? So sometimes you got to ignore your little things and just say, okay, this founder's insane. So we missed that mainly. But the thing that, like, personally, Josh Resnick and I both didn't love the idea of eating 4 to 5 gummies, like just with, and there's sugar content in there, I believe. I'm not sure how much, but it just kind of felt, I was just like, that's not a daily habit that I can see, that I think I would want to do, and it was, gummies were there, Create was there, a couple others were in the space, but it wasn't so big. And so, we, in the same way that I'm saying, I think pouches are going to be huge. We bet against gummies. We were just like, I don't, and that was just wrong. We were complete. I mean, obviously Create is massive and amazing. So Dan's doing incredible work there. So so it was just a miss on the form factor.
Wow. That's interesting. As we're talking,
they're
go
right
ahead.
Behind you, Chris. They're right behind you too.
Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah, Grins is right.
And they're incredible.
One that kind of fires me up right now is our good friend Ben over at Lilic. He's basically he's basically made lollipops and electrolytes. I mean, you can do anything. You can put anything in there. But the specific point is like all the good stuff that he wants to give his kids that they won't take. Now they can take it in a tasty lollipop form. And I will say it tastes great. And so like this is always the point for me, like any kind of like new form factor or health benefit or whatever. It's like, but how does it like actually taste? Does it taste good? If it does, then there's like potential for mass, consumer appeal. I'm excited about that as like a new potential form factor. Do you think there's credence to that, Josh? You think there's something there?
I don't know. I mean, the target market is what, kids, or is it or?
I think it's anybody, but anybody. They created it in the vein of like, I want to give my kids, they want candy. I don't want to give them candy. They won't take electrolytes. Like, how do I get it to them in a tasty form? And now his kids eat these things up, and I was eating them all last weekend.
Maybe. I mean, again, it's one of those, like, one of the challenges as an investor is when you have your own internal bias. Like, I never eat candy. Like, not because it's not even good for me. I just, for whatever reason, it's just not my thing. And so, you got to get outside yourself. You got to talk to sometimes you got to talk to your kids. You got to talk to your friends' kids, or, if they have teenagers or whatever, or whoever. But I think it could be interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. What do you guys think about this Skio news and recharge?
Amazing. We just covered it this morning. I mean,
you did.
Incredible. Oh yeah. I mean, I feel so strongly that subscription is the next wave of all things e-commerce, and you get everything kind of buttoned up into subscription. You talk about it for, basically software multiples. You basically do the Grins playbook, you do the Create playbook, and you exit for a bag to Unilever. That is my called shot for a couple brands right now.
And I would think, Josh, for you, having lived in this world of commerce infrastructure, this has got to be very interesting for you. I mean, what do you think of it?
I think it's super interesting. So one of the things that's different about OpenSky is, we're, again, back to that model on efficiency, right? So one of the reasons why that's important, and one of the reasons, like we're not necessarily underwriting and looking for the next Anthropic at OpenSky, right? I mean, it'd be great if we did, but the first round on Anthropic or whatever, it's 100 million pre-money or whatever, right? So we're looking to 5 to 15x our money on the majority of our deals. We're underwriting at 10x normally, right? So them exiting for 9 figures in this space is one of the bigger exits in commerce infrastructure in a while. I mean, obviously there's Klaviyo and other things like that, but it seems like a really clean exit. I'm curious how much was like cash versus equity. But I think it's huge validation for the space, and it's also validation for this model of again what I was calling seed strapping earlier, which is, hey, raise 2, 3, 4, 5 million bucks at a 10 million cap and make your investors 10x. The founders make life-changing money for the rest of their lives. Team does well. They probably got a good chunk of recharge equity. So they have a second bite of the apple if and when recharge exits or IPOs, right? So it's a win across the board. I think where founders get in trouble is they just get this insatiable appetite to like raise. And look, it worked out for Chad and Grooms, but there's a bunch of stories, and, I mean, you could point to a gajillion, where they raised 50 million, 100 million, and they have a good company today, but they have too much pref, and they're below the pref, and it's like, oh man, that's a shame. That's a good group of people doing good work, but like everyone is like, oh, they suck or whatever, just because they raised a little bit too much money.
I love this concept of seed
totally.
strapping. Josh, I've never heard it before. I think it's so smart. And I think that a lot more founders in our space, every side, agency, brand, software. I mean, I think a lot more founders need to hear this. Yeah. It's always just been in my mind. It's like, man, you bootstrap it or you like raise to the hilt, and then you got to hit a grand slam. But this seems like a much more like practical, profitable way forward.
Well, it is. It is, because as a first-time founder, I do think you need to raise a little bit. Why? Because, you probably don't have enough, a lot of dough in savings, just to get started. You may not have the connections. You need some validation from investors. You'd love to have the introductions. You'd love to have the advisory. You'd love to have the input. And you can get all of that for pretty minimal dilution, 15 to 20% dilution, like one time, right? So you raise 2 on 10 or whatever, and you're in a pretty good spot. And so it's a pretty inexpensive way to get those really core early initial introductions to hires, introductions to partners. Again, validation. So when people look at you and say, oh, should I work with them? And it's like, oh, backed by whoever, OpenSky, Bonfire. It's a big deal. So I call it the Goldilocks of investing.
There we go.
Right there.
I like it. Right, just right.
Yeah. Is there anybody outside of your current portfolio that you're kind of admiring from afar, where if they approach you and you're like, I'd love to give you some money, but you're not in the portfolio right now, you're kind of just floating around doing your own thing? It is the Skio of a couple years ago, where it'd be great if they raised on the 3, 4, 5 and just kind of went up and to the right from there, and you're just kind of spotting them like a hunter spotting a lion from afar.
Well, if I'm certainly not going to say it on this show, because
come on,
I don't want everyone out there going after him. I got to keep some things on the deal.
That's fair. I'll say this, Josh. Man, you've got to come back to us, because the more that you talk, man, the more I realize that you've got a lot in there, man. Yeah, and you've got a lot of perspective, having been involved in all of the companies that are in you guys' portfolio and the deals that you see, and the companies that are working both on the commerce infrastructure side, but also on the brand side. I find really unique. I mean, let me ask this, Josh: is there anywhere that you got content you're writing, you're posting, etc.? Because I feel like we need to hear more from you.
Yeah, what's going on? Let's find it on LinkedIn and X it's at JN Payne.
At JN Payne. I found you this morning, and we're following each other now. I feel like there needs to be a Josh newsletter out there too that everybody should go subscribe to. I'm just spitballing.
Hey,
Josh.
Hey, help me out here. I need, we need to get something going.
All right. So everybody needs to go follow Josh on Twitter, on LinkedIn, JN Payne. And if you've got the next big thing, you need to go seed strap it with OpenSky. I think that's the move.
Absolutely.
Right. Wow. Agreed. Thanks, Josh, fellas.
We appreciate you coming. We look forward to having you back, man. Cook up more for us.
Appreciate it.
Also, special little shout out, Postscript OG Bet. Love to see that.
I had no clue I had
Love to
no
see that.
clue that that Alex and Adam were Stack Mafia with Josh.
Stack Mafia. There you
Wow,
go. Let's
it's
go.
a small world. It's a small
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Incredible, man. That is exciting. I'll say this. I think I need to talk to more VCs.
Yeah.
There's they've got like insight that you know, I'm just always used to talking like D2C, marketing, metrics,
Yeah.
you know, brand, product development, etc. But he's got like perspective that I don't have. That's
Yeah.
not just you know, not just consumer wide, but also on the commerce infrastructure side and how, you know, different product developments and form factors and different, you know, developments in technology might affect this. And I find this to be very interesting.
Yeah, and I love the idea of seed strapping, where I think a lot of founders get overzealous and just get too excited about raising a boatload of money. But you have to realize that now they have to exit for an insane multiple for the math just to even make sense now.
Yeah,
And it's like, okay, that's great. You just raised all this money. You have to basically explode out of the sun in order
got
for the
to.
math to work.
Yeah,
Or
got
anything else is a failure, which
yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. That's why for so many years now I have been so strong on bootstrapping. I mean, it's really, and it's especially born out of my experience at Bruce Bolt, my old boss, Gard Mayer. It's like the first thing that he ever tells anybody is profit first. Go read the book. Like, this is how you're going to bootstrap and raise. And that comes on the back of him having a negative experience, having raised at the company before. But I think this concept of seed strapping is very interesting,
Very
and
interesting.
I think there's a lot there. Otherwise, they wouldn't have like all these crazy winners in their
Yeah.
portfolio. Sienna, like you mentioned, Outer Signal, Set. I mean, there's just so many in here. Magic Mind, Intro. It's Fishwife. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable portfolio to hang your hat on.
Well, I'm glad to know him now. We have Nabeel Azeez, OG copywriter of Twitter lore. This guy has everybody and their mom. If you've been on X for a while, if you've been on X pre-Elon, you know that everybody and their mom loves this guy. I mean, we're talking about Cernovich. We're talking about Sass Wiz. Everybody is giving this guy his flowers, and he deserves them. He's going to come in here and talk with us about copywriting. But before he comes, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about incense. Don't we all want better ads? Yeah, we do. We do. And we'd love for actual humans to be involved who are good at what they're doing, creators. But you know, and I know that process is so disjointed. Finding the right people, manually negotiating usage rights, etc. It is a headache. That is why Incense exists. It is the all-in-one UGC and influencer marketing platform. All in one place, vetted creator marketplace, not just you finding the right people, but them applying to you. Automated influencer outreach, built-in campaign management. You get content as little as 14 days. So much better than finding a rando TikTok and hoping it changes the trajectory of your business. They've just released the UGC Playbook 2.0. Get it at the URL scrolling across the screen. It's going to tell you why Andromeda is a good thing and what the path forward is. What is it, Chris? It's modular UGC. Go and talk with Incense, incense.pro. Test drive that platform for free. Tell them Colin and I sent you. Many thanks for them being part of the show. Now, we need to welcome Nabeel Azeez in here. He is the founder of Dropkick Copy. That is the service side of his business, email marketing, etc., etc. He also has a new education program called Copy Skills, where he is developing copywriting skills for everyone who wants to participate, specifically in the global South. And I'm excited about this because I think everybody in e-commerce is discovering the path forward is finding excellent, especially here in the US, finding excellent international talent that is equipped and adept with AI, and then scaling profits forever and forever up and to the right. We need to welcome inside of this show, Nabeel Azeez. Nabeel, get in here. Get in here, Nabeel. There he is.
Let's
Nabeel.
go.
Howdy, partners.
Brother, you're looking
go.
good with that beard and dressed up right. Brother, we all came suited and booted today. Let's go, man.
Well, listen, I'm trying to help
time.
you guys get acquired by Shopify. So
Now we're talking. Now we're talking, Nabeel.
Let's
You see the
go.
vision. You see the
You see the
future,
vision.
Nabeel. I
Oh,
feel
it-
that.
what is it called?
Brother.
We're going to change the name to ECPN now, or what?
Maybe
Let's
so.
go.
Maybe so. Maybe so. I I wouldn't mind that destination, Nabeel. I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
Maybe we should even clip that and send that to our good friends at Shopify or whoever should want to see
I
that.
dig it. And if you do get acquired, maybe you give me a little taste. Just a little
Maybe
taste.
just a little taste. Just a little taste for casting the vision on the show.
I see it.
I think that's only right, Nabeel.
Yeah.
Now, Nabeel, man, you've got to give everybody a little bit of your backstory here for how you got to where you are, man, because you're Sri Lankan, you're living in Dubai, and man, you are like Twitter famous lore. I mean, a few years ago, all anybody could ever talk about on my corner of the internet was copywriting. I mean, it's everywhere and in every way. And man, your name comes up again and again and again and again. Man, how did you get to becoming Twitter famous copywriter of the stars and working with all the people that you have? How'd you get here?
That's very kind of you. I gotta put you guys on the payroll as my hype man. Or something.
Let's go.
Very
Let's
gracious
go.
of you.
Let's go.
Yeah, so I'm actually a self-taught copywriter. I was introduced to copywriting through Ramit Sethi. I don't know if you guys know him. He's the founder of iwillteachyoutoberich.com.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's a personal finance and self-improvement coach, and he's a very good copywriter himself. So I got introduced to it through him, and then I sort of went down the rabbit hole. Did it part-time for a few years while I was working my day job, and then went all in around 2018. And so that's what I've been doing since then. Most of my clients are, I guess pretty much all of my clients are actually B2B.
Really?
And consulting, high-ticket coaches, that kind of thing. I'm more like Andre Hakel, who you've had on your show.
Yeah.
But, I have a good friend of mine. He keeps launching Ecomm brands. So whenever he does, he brings me on to write their emails. So that's where I get my whatever little e-commerce experience copywriting that I have.
Wow, man, that's incredible, man. You got into, and this is the thing that I love about the internet, and I especially love about e-commerce. For me, is that this same story that you're describing can be borne out again and again. It's like, yeah, I didn't have to go to school for this. Even if I could have, I wouldn't have known where to go and get trained. I just picked it up and learned it and endeavored and found the right sources on the internet. And then I started doing it. And, it's like a promise of freedom. That's the thing that I love about what we do. That's an incredible story, man. Go ahead,
Nabeel. Yeah, for sure. Nabeel, could you talk to us a little bit about what most e-commerce companies get wrong about copy? You have probably seen a ton of copy at this point. You've probably seen a ton from e-commerce operators and a ton of copy that is probably a little cringe now with your eyes and your lens that you're seeing the world through. What do they get wrong when they are trying to do this?
So the biggest mistake every business, whether it's e-com or not, tries to make is they try to write copy like big brands. They try to be like Apple, and they do that with their design. They do that with all of their marketing. Is they try to be like a big brand. So most businesses, most brands, when they're starting out, they need to be a lot more direct because people don't know who they are, and so you literally have to explain things as if you're explaining them to a 5-year-old. And so that's the number one thing or area where they make a mistake is they're not clear enough in their copy. They try to be too fancy. They try to be too cute or too clever or too esoteric with their writing when they should be just being a lot more direct, and that'll probably get them a lot further than anything that they're doing right now.
I love that.
Do you think, Nabeel, that the coming of AI and now, for me, as far as email marketing is concerned, I just always do it the old fashioned way. Just think about what I want to say and then write it. And then, you know, the LLMs came to us, and then I type a few things in. Wow, like I got a great thing to work from here. And sometimes I've just shipped it out. It's like, yeah, good enough. Let's go. But do you think that the coming of LLMs has contributed to this kind of like sea of sameness where, you know, brands, businesses, et cetera, they're too verbose. They're too, you know, they sound like Apple instead of being direct and kind of cutting through the noise. How has the coming of LLMs and AI kind of changed copywriting or marketing in general from your viewpoint?
So the number one thing I see is that even before AI, there was a lot of human slop, right? And so people were not just generally, most people are not good at writing copy. So when they do try to write content or copy or marketing collaterals, they don't do a good job of it. So what AI has done now is it allows them to produce human slop at scale, because AI is.
I like this. Keep going. This
yeah, because so AI is trained on. Well, it's basically aggregating like the sum total average. Like it's basically regressing to the mean when it writes when it tries to write copy, right? Now you can, if you have somebody competent who's prompting it, giving the right amount of context and things of that nature, you can get it to produce better writing than you would if you would just prompt it as somebody who doesn't know anything about copywriting. So that's what is happening right now. People are using AI who were not good writers to begin with. And so the content that they're producing, or the copy that they're producing, or the marketing collaterals that they're producing, they don't know that it's bad, and so they don't know how to edit it. But you know, in general, like for the people who are competent, what AI has done is it's removed the laborious part of coming up with messaging. So compiling research and coming up with first drafts and coming up with variations, that is much faster now. The reason why good copy used to take so long is because you were pretty much writing it, you know, from scratch. But you don't have to do that now. And in general, copy has never you're never really writing copy from a blank page. You're always assembling it from research. And so now with LLMs and being able to give it your process. Like every copywriter has their own process or comes to their own process for assembling copy. And so what copywriters are doing now is they're basically teaching that process to AI and having the AI help them do the actual, you know, grunt work. And even before AI, we would have like senior copywriters would have their copy cubs or junior copywriters. And so those junior copywriters would be responsible for compiling a lot of the research and putting together the first draft. And then the senior copywriter would review, or the copy chief would review and give feedback, make changes, et cetera, et cetera. And so that first draft or that copy that the junior copywriter produced, it was never run live. It was always a polished version that would get, you know, put in front of the audience or put in front of the market. So that's basically what you need to do with AI now. So AI has taken the place of your junior copywriter or your first draft.
Wow.
Tell me this. Oh, go ahead, Kyle.
No, all you, please.
Yeah, tell me this, Nabeel. I think that when it comes to copywriting now, and I'm specifically talking inside of the space that we kind of live in every day and in every way with e-commerce, brother, I don't even hear this term anymore. I don't.
Yeah.
And when I do hear it, the first thing that I think of, honestly, Nabeel, is like copywriting. That's like words. Like that's good, but like I need more than words. I need video. I need statics. I need, you know, it's like I need would I hire a copywriter who's just going to write words? I need like you know, I need somebody that can do like 4 or 5 things all together. And I think what that has like defaulted to is this creative strategist role that is so hot right now. Everybody that we talk to, whether a headhunter, you know, whether it's somebody hiring, you know, it's always creative strategist. Brother, what's the difference? I mean, you know, do you have copywriters that you train, that get hired as creative strategists? Is this like Do you see this as like something that gets mentioned or gets hired less and less? I feel like there's a very valid role and contribution that copywriters are absolutely making, or unfortunately aren't making because we're not hiring them. How do you see the difference between those two?
So most of the coaching programs right now are teaching copywriters how to get creative strategist jobs. Because
Okay.
what a creative strategist is just a meta ads copywriter. We just changed the name. So what does a creative strategist do? They research the market. They look at what ads are running now. They look at what competitors are doing. They look at, they mine reviews and things like that. So they're doing research. They're coming up with scripts, whether that's written scripts or scripts for video. They're coming up with scripts. They're offering creative direction to the editors and the designers, and they're reviewing data to find out what's working, and then they're making iterations and changes based off of the data. And that's exactly what a copywriter does. It's the exact same job. Now, where a copywriter differs is, I'm going to say copywriter, but in general, what I mean is a good copywriter. A good copywriter has knowledge of the entire funnel and can write for different, like basically every step of the funnel. Two, they are more complete marketers, so they understand markets, they understand product creation, they understand offers and things of that nature. And three, they know math and things like that, so they know unit economics. So the copywriter is a much more complete kind of marketer who is also able to do this job called creative strategy. Now, where did creative strategy come from? It's because Meta Ads, which is the primary platform where a lot of e-commerce brands run their ads, needs so much creative, whether that's statics or video, to keep it fed and keep it alive and keep your keep spending your budget. So brands now need somebody who's dedicated just to that.
Yeah.
And so that's where the creative strategist comes from. But before these changes, Meta Andromeda and whatever changes they've made to their algorithm, that was just handled by the Meta Ads copywriter, and it might have been just the copywriter who's in-house, who's writing their Meta Ads, running their emails, writing their landing pages, etc., etc. But back then they didn't need as much creative. Now they need a lot more creative, something like 30 to 50 pieces of creative per week.
Yeah.
And so now you need a dedicated person to manage that. So that's where the creative strategists come from. But really, it's just a Meta Ads copywriter.
That's an interesting POV, and I'm glad that you brought that out, because that bridges the gap, the persona talent there a little more for me.
Yeah. Nabeel, could you touch on that a little bit more? I mean, Meta Ads is so much of our bread and butter. And could you talk about some potential copy best practices that you see that are sitting inside of Meta Ads or sitting inside of Meta Copy that all brands should be paying attention to, or at least testing out in this day and age right now?
So I think what I've been seeing, and I see a lot of people talking about this on Twitter, is the AI slop ads are doing really well. So so the fruit dramas, the AI fruit dramas, like
let's go,
like the strawberry gets cheated on.
Yes,
yeah,
we love it.
That's right. That's right. They do well.
And then there's the ads where the body parts. So I saw an ad on Twitter the other day. It's like it was a talking butthole, and it's selling some kind of supplement for like
beautiful
groups or something like that.
Amazing.
There was another ad I saw. It was like talking lady parts, where it's like a bunch of variations, talking lady parts. So those are doing really well. So now you have like the creative strategists and copywriters. They're seeing a lot more different media formats that they need to be able to write for. So because of AI, they're able to create these kinds of different creatives that were not possible before unless you spent a lot of money on creating them. So like claymation animations, anime style creatives. I don't know if you guys watch Psyop Anime on Twitter, where he does.
Yes, I have. Yes, it's fascinating.
Yeah, so he does the news. He does the news in anime, right? So you can do that kind of creative. So you just need to be very familiar with all the different kinds of media formats or different kinds of creative concepts that are running right now. In general, I like to say you need to be I mean, if you're advertising online, you need to be a man or a woman of the internet. So you need to be consuming a lot of, you need to be doom scrolling, and doom scrolling with purpose, because I know you've had Oren John and Jamie Gannon on. They
Yeah.
they do their bookmarks and things like that. So you need to be bookmarking a lot of stuff. So you need to have your folders of different
Yeah.
inspiration and things like that. So that's what they need to do. The other thing that's working well, I don't know, there's this guy on Twitter. His name is Kamal Razak. He goes on about founder ads, so getting the founders in the
Oh,
ads a
yeah.
lot. So that works
Yeah.
really well. And in general, getting the founder in front and facing the prospect or the market is good. Is a good idea overall. Whether that's in your ads or in your emails, or on other marketing collaterals, it helps.
Tell me this, Nabeel. You are a man of words. You are. And I think that this point that you're bringing up about like being a person that is like a man or woman of the internet, I think it's totally valid, and it is the case. You have to be taking in those things that they spark interest, they hook you. Why do they hook you? What words did they use to bring you in, to draw your attention? I wonder, like for your education program, copy skills. Is that what it's called, Nabeel? Tell us about this, and tell us how you're educating these people, because man, this is like, it's such a necessary need. And I feel like you have brought out, there's like so many businesses, they're like white rice. I've heard you use this illustration. There's like no taste, there's no flavor. And you've got to help these copywriters that you are training to add flavor, taste, be blunt, be funny, somehow get attention. Man, how do you help them do this?
So before I start with training copywriters, my recommendation always is to have the brand's founder write all their copy when they start off, when they're growing. I think probably like until you get to 10 million a year, like the founder could be writing most of the copy. But all they have to do is like read a couple of books on copywriting, and they could write their own ads. I know there's a bunch of founders like they run their own ads themselves as well. Like they don't want to work with agencies, so it's not that hard for them to write their own copy. If they spend like a month, like 20 hours focused learning it, they could write their own copy. Now, the reason why copywriters exist is because founders don't want to write their own copy, or marketers don't want to write their own copy. So all we're doing is we're basically taking the work off of their plate. In fact, if a founder were to put in the time and get halfway decent at writing copy, they would probably write much better copy than a trained copywriter, because it's their brand, it's their baby. Nobody's going to care about it as much as they are. So that's the first point. So with regard to training copywriters, Copy Skills is my sort of membership community, and we have a school community called Copywriting Launchpad, which is for beginner copywriters, where we train them. We train them on writing copy. We train them on the business side of things, more on the business side of things than the actual skill, because there are plenty of resources available for people to learn copy, even for free. But on the business side of things, that's what we train them on. And then Copy Skills is sort of like, that was originally what I called the community, but I'm now making it a spin-off for people who own their own offers or own their own brands. So for the copywriters who want to learn about copywriting and have a career as a freelance copywriter, they got to go to Copywriting Launchpad on the school. And so the way we train them is, we have our courses, we have asynchronous coaching in the community, so they can ask any amount of questions they want. They can submit their copy for feedback, which I will critique for them. And that's basically how we do it. We do guest lectures sometimes. We bring in experts. We do extended workshops, where I'll do like a workshop for like a week. I'm doing one next week, actually. I'm teaching my email list management course called List Boss to the community, and that's running from Monday to Sunday. I'll be teaching that live. The course already exists, but I like to teach it live because it just gets a little bit creates a little bit more urgency for people to sign up.
And I saw a tweet of yours, and you said something like the best copywriter in the world is like this teenager. who like came from this place and started picking up something and learning, and now she's working with all these like Brazilian companies. And tell me about this. Am I getting this story right? I'd like to hear from you, because man, it stood out on the timeline. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it's a good story. I actually found out about it third hand by somebody else on the timeline, and her name is Amanda Khayat. She's a French Arab Brazilian copywriter. She's 17 years old. She started writing copy at 15, and she on her phone, because she couldn't afford a computer. She doesn't
Wild.
speak English. Her ads have made over $20 million.
Wow.
And she right now she's a copy chief for direct response supplement companies in Brazil, which like the Brazilian guys. Those are like the hardcore direct response outfits.
Yeah.
Gray hat or super black hat. So that's what she does. And there's a podcast interview of hers. I found her on the VTurb. VTurb is a software used by a VSL software used by direct response marketers. They have a YouTube channel, and she's got a podcast interview there. It's like a 3-hour podcast. She goes into her whole creative process and how she writes copy. But yeah, I would consider her the best creative strategist in the world right now.
Wild.
I mean, also in the same vein of giving people their flowers, can you think of any people in the B2B space that are not in your portfolio, but that you're admiring from afar, where you are loving what they're doing from a copy perspective as a company? They're not boring. It's exciting. It's actually interesting what they're doing. Is there any B2B companies that come to mind where you're actually just super fired up about their copy every day?
I can't think of one off the top of my head that actually has really good copy. There was one, I don't know if they still have this on their homepage, Coda. It's like the spreadsheet software. And on their homepage, the hero headline says, enough of this sheet. Or I'm sick of this sheet, or something like that. So
I love that.
That was a banger. I wish I had thought of that. So that's one that stands out for me. But I typically don't follow the actual companies for their copy. I'll follow copywriters who are writing in a particular vertical. So like I'll give you a couple like off of for Ecomm. Chris Orzi, who you guys know. I hope you guys had him on the show yet?
I don't know if
Chris
Orzi. He is coming. He's coming.
He's coming. Yeah,
He's coming.
Yes,
Yeah,
he's coming.
So like he writes for Ecomm brands. So he writes for Carnivore Snacks, and he writes for this ranch. So his emails are very, very entertaining. So if you want to read Carnivore Snacks emails, that's all Chris Orzakowski, and his copy is very entertaining.
Incredible.
He's really good at what he does. There's another one. I don't know if he still writes Ecomm emails or Ecomm copy, but his name is Cardinal Mason. He's also on Twitter.
Oh yeah. That guy, boy, he's good at what he does.
He's really good. Yeah.
He's good at what he does. I don't think he does any Ecomm anymore. I think he's all in the info game now.
Yeah.
Well, he runs his coaching program called Copy MBA.
Yeah.
But he also has an email agency on that. His is like he still does email marketing for brands. So I don't know if it's him writing the emails, but it could be somebody on his team. But he is very good at writing email copy. He's a very entertaining copywriter. He's just generally very good at what he does. So those are two off the top of my head. If you want entertaining content.
Well, I think this is a good point too that you bring up. To me, this bridges the gap between copywriter and creative strategist, because Cardinal Mason, he is, I think part of the reason why his TikToks pop so hard is because he's a great copywriter. I really believe that. Of course, he's got his like swaggy way that he does it, but there's a heavy piece of that is literally just knowing what words to say, when to say them, and how to say them. And you bring all of that to bear in video format. And what do you get? You get millions of views, which is what he's always pulling on TikTok. That's a great point. That really bridges the gap for me on the creative strategist and copywriter even more. Fascinating. Yeah. Nabeel, now tell me this. People want to find you. They want to work with you. I mean, emails, they want to learn from you. Man, give us the list. Tell us like where to go, where to find you, how do people learn from you? How can they work with you for Dropkick or however that plays out? Give us the whole list, man.
So if you Google my name, I'm pretty much the only Nabeel Azeez on the planet because I own like the entire first page. So
There
you
we
can find
go.
all of my stuff there. Or like if you ask Grok, I'm pretty much the only Nabeel Azeez on the planet.
Let's go.
But other than that, I'll just give one call to action, and that's just DM me on Twitter or follow me on Twitter.
Got it.
You guys are a Twitter first media
Oh,
platform,
we are.
right? So
That is
Big
right.
time.
that's where I'll tell your audience to go. And then if they DM me Cowboy after watching this, then I'll know that they came from the show, and then I've got something special for them.
All
Let's go.
right. There we
Let's
go. Everybody, hey, and we don't know what it is, but it's going to be something good. Everybody go follow
that.
Nabeel if you haven't already. DM him, tell him Cowboy, and you'll get a special surprise. Nabeel, man, we appreciate you for making the time and coming on here and doing all that you do, contributing to the community and making us all men and women of words on the interwebs. Brother, thank you for joining us. Look forward to having you back, and we'll see you again soon, man. Well, Nabeel is no longer with us, and apparently Colin isn't either. I don't know where Colin is. Oh, you're back. There you are.
Here. I
There
got pushed
you
out
are.
for a sec.
You got pushed out, but Jack was nice, and she let you back in.
Nice.
This is interesting. It's an interesting like bridge he's building here, like in my head. I just had kind of thought like for D2C and Ecomm, like what we do, unless you're like a giant brand, I just kind of thought, copywriting. I don't know. I just need more. But he's like builds the bridge there. Actually, there a lot of skills that translate there, and really what a creative strategist is. It's a copywriter in a new form in a new year. That makes a lot of sense for me.
Yeah, I also appreciated the fact that I think a lot of founders and marketers try to be too cheeky with it. They try to be too, complicated with it. And he's basically saying, hey, you got to be more simple about this. You got to be more direct about this because people don't know who you are. You're not Apple. You got to be direct about this to your customer. And I appreciate that a lot.
And have some flavor. Have some flavor to what you're doing. Like somehow like break through. And I thought the Coda example that he brought up was really interesting. I'm tired of this sheet. Spreadsheet software, I mean, let's be honest. How often are you excited to open an email about a spreadsheet software? Like never.
Sometimes
never. Maybe. Okay.
Never.
For me, like never. Unless you lead with, I'm tired of this sheet. Like now I'm going to open, and actually I like you more because you're funny, you surprised, you delighted me, and I'm going to open your email and talk to you.
I love it.
Well, a couple of great guests that we have had here, and I think we need to close out the day with a little lightning round of stories. There's a couple that we didn't cover, though. There's a couple that we didn't cover from earlier. We hit X, incredible there. I think there's two more that we should hit. Yeah, there's a important update on cost cap. We'll just include them in our last bit of lightning round stories. Update comes to us from Tori Rowe, knower of ball at Dream Labs, and he is describing what is happening with the changing of cost caps, a very important topic for many of our media buyer friends out there. Big news. Meta is updating cost caps, and I think this one is going to matter for a lot of accounts. Current version has one setting. Put in your target CPA. Campaign tries to honor it. If the cap is too tight relative to where the algorithm needs to operate, campaign sits in learning and barely moves. This is what everybody's always complaining about when it comes to cost caps. Common response is to raise the cap manually until it starts spending, which defeats the purpose of having a cap in the first place. It's a product limitation that a lot of operators have just accepted as the norm. This beta version fixes this by splitting cost caps into two priorities. One mode lets you spend as the primary objective and treat the CPA target as secondary. The other mode keeps a traditional structure where CPA target is the primary objective and spend is secondary. If efficiency is your hard ceiling and you'd rather have low volume than bad volume, that mode still exists. Accounts I'd test The accounts I'd test the spend first version on immediately are ones that have enough creative signal to warrant scaling, but have been limited by how sensitive the algorithm is to that tight cap. The accounts I'd keep in traditional mode are the ones where efficiency is the actual constraint, not volume. This is Meta acknowledging something operators have known for a while. Again, Meta listening. Okay. Hey, this is positive. This is positive. We've got the MCP that just rolled out here. Now, a little differentiation on the cost cap. Perhaps they have seen the thousands of tweets that have come out complaining about cost caps and how they'd like them differently. Tool just didn't have enough flexibility for the range of situations people are deploying it in. More to come once real data comes out of the beta. You like this? I think this is very positive.
Absolutely love this. Great job for Meta to give us more options here, because cost caps were a little, let's say, janky. They were a little janky sometimes trying to make those babies work. And this is exciting to see that they're actually splitting it into two different priorities. So kudos to them. This is awesome. You love to hear the fact that Meta is listening to us.
And just give me the opportunity to spend a little bit. Can we just spend a little bit? That's always the problem with cost caps. It's like, nothing's spending. I got all this creative and nothing's moving. Yeah. So just give me, if I got enough creative, let that thing spend a little bit, please.
Yeah.
This would be nice to see. Second story here. TikTok Shop, the Wall Street Journal is reporting TikTok Shop, its share of overall retail sales right now, 1% today. In 2028, 2 years from now, they're projecting 10% of retail sales will be all amalgamized inside of TikTok Shop. 10x over the next 2 years. Now, is that significant? Yes, it is. Did you know this?
I did not know this. And also think about the brands that just recently launched storefronts. Ralph Lauren, Olaplex, Ulta Beauty. Massive behemoth companies that are going to probably destroy on that platform. I mean, those are just three brands that work perfectly well for TikTok Shop. Really excited to see this. I mean, we are kind of calling this shot a little bit, Chris, where we're saying, hey, dollars are moving to TikTok Shop. They're also moving to whatnot. You gotta kind of move accordingly. We're giving you the sauce on the show right here.
Let me just read some from this article from the Wall Street Journal. Since its U.S. debut in late 2023, TikTok Shop has surged in popularity. Of course, consumer spending on the platform was up 46% in the first 3 months of this year.
Crazy.
Up 46% in the first 3 months of this year compared with the previous year. According to data provider Consumer Edge, retailers see TikTok Shop as a way to reach younger shoppers in particular, but older demographics were the fastest growing segments earlier this year. This is always like the complaint with TikTok Shops, like, oh, it's a bunch of young people on there, and they don't have any money and it's low AOV and all of this blah, 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 blah. Well, I think over time, what we're going to be seeing, and Ron was talking about this on the timeline yesterday. You can bring us back here, Jack. Ron was talking about this on the timeline yesterday. Over time, those people, you can take that tweet away, Jack. Over time, the people that are on the app are only going to get older. Okay. They're going to have more money to spend. And the people that are getting on the platform are older. It's the fastest growing segment. Okay. And there are already examples of high AOV products like Shark Ninja and coolers and things like this, where people they're finding a path there. And so I think the few skeptics that still remain, probably the majority of people inside of our space, they need to go away, and they need to take a fresh look at who's onboarding. Ralph Lauren, hello. I mean, L'Oreal, hello. I mean,
crazy.
It's like the biggest companies in the world are onboarding on a TikTok Shop, and the Wall Street Journal is saying they're going up from 1% of retail to 10% over the next 2 years. So, TikTok Shop, 2023, whatnot, 2025, early 2026, and I still say rest of 2026 and 2027 X.
Wow. I mean, all of this is extremely bullish also for e-commerce as a whole as well. So if TikTok Shop is going up and to the right, also as a greater macro trend, that means that e-commerce will also be going up and to the right for the foreseeable future. This is amazing. You love to see this. Again, how could you not be bullish on e-commerce today?
Last of our platform stories, Instagram theme pages may be over. This story comes to us via TechCrunch, and apparently Instagram is cracking down on reposted largely I didn't create this content, which has been famously winsome on the platform for many years. Instagram announced on Thursday that accounts that regularly repost content they didn't create or primarily share the people's work as photos and carousels will no longer be eligible for recommendations across the app. The Meta-owned platform says the idea behind the change is to ensure creators of original content get the credit and distribution they deserve. It's worth noting that these protections were already in place for Reels and are now being applied to photos and carousels, which are the posts that feature a collection of images and videos in a swipeable format. What I will bring up here, though, is that everybody knows that you can take a Reel and throw a different overlay on it, put a different music in the background, and you can still post that thing and get millions of views. So I'm not sure that this is going to be the intense crackdown that one may believe it to be at first listen. Your thoughts on this?
Totally agree with you. I think this is kind of a nothing burger because you can also change the actual file itself by chopping the front or the back half of it and completely changing the actual video in Instagram's eyes. So it's a bit of a nothing burger. There's a lot of workarounds around this. Not really much to for them to cook on here.
Maybe theme pages may still live. This next story for me is a little sad. The Subway $5 footlong is long gone. We all know. And what has replaced the Subway $5 footlong? The Subway $5 6-inch. Subway is rolling out a fresh value menu. When I originally saw this, I was fired up because I was like, the $5 footlong is back. Okay. Subway sees it. Everybody's feeling the pressure. Okay. Everybody's got less money to spend, and they are debuting some kind of new offering where people can spend $5 and get well fed. Those of us that were born in the 80s and 90s still remember the $5 footlong with cherished feelings and memories.
Oh my gosh.
Now, what is here? Subway's fresh value menu, where one can get protein packs, protein pockets, they are calling it, on their fresh value menu for $3.99 a piece. Okay. One can also get a $4.99 6-inch Subway sandwich. Meatball Monday, Tuna Tuesday, Sweet Onion Teriyaki Wednesday, Turkey Thursday, Forest Ham Friday, BMT Saturday, and Spicy Italian Sunday. $4.99 for a 6-incher. And then for another couple of bucks, you can add chips and a drink. This mostly made me sad because it gives us a very clear market of a very clear measure of how much our dollar is worth. It's worth literally half of a sandwich than the original campaign, $5 footlong.
Yeah, what's hilarious to me is people were just totally fine with eating an entire loaf of bread. Where, if you talk to your friend, you'd be like, dude, you want to eat an entire loaf of bread together? They'd be like, no, dude, you're a psycho. Do you want to go get Subway? Oh, absolutely. I'd love to go get Subway and eat a footlong, which is basically an entire loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. But yeah, this is kind of sad in the sense that, our money's cut in half right now. No fun.
In half. I will say classic junior and senior year of college order for me was to leave practice and go home, and on the way home to get 2 $5 footlongs.
Oh my gosh.
And I would mash both of those things. I mean, it was so good. So good. Sometimes I'd go tuna, usually always go the cold cut trio. And sometimes you mix it up with meatball, it's so good. Jam pack that thing with all of the fillings and then crush 2 of those babies before arriving home at that little rented apartment near University of Texas campus. Great times. Great times had by all.
Gosh. The move is always the chicken teriyaki, and then you get the bread toasted. That's always the move. I don't know what
You
this
know,
what this crazy tuna answer is.
oh,
That's
oh,
crazy.
the tuna was it was delightful. It's delightful. Just mix up, you know. You just got to mix it up, you know. I always get the standard cold cut. BMT is a great option. A little Italian
Oh my god.
flavorness to it. Delicious. Next story here. Did you know that there are investment bank influencers now? There are.
Yeah.
There are investment bank influencers. Make way for the investment bank influencers. This story comes to us by way of After School by Casey Lewis. She was citing an article in the New York Times. Young men in finance aren't the only ones triggering compliance crackdowns. Gen Z women treating their corporate jobs as content have racked up 60,000 investment banking videos. Did you know, bro? There are 60,400 investment banking TikToks that are on the platform right now. Did you know that?
I did not. I've seen a couple of these videos. This doesn't surprise me, but it does worry me. Basically, this happened with big tech a couple years ago,
It did.
where big tech people were making the day in the life videos, and it was like, oh, look at me and my day in the life, and I get breakfast, and I get lunch, and I get dinner, and we get coffee, and basically I work for 3 hours, and blah blah blah. There is a little bit of a little bit to say with investment banking. They're documenting the hours. If you're working investment banking, you're most likely working 90 to 100 to 110 hours a week, usually in New York City. So they're debuting that. But if you are turning that dial down and saying basically, I am just having a cakewalk inside of investment banking, and we get a lot of those videos, there will be a culling of the herd, so to speak, which happened with tech and all of the project managers that were posting all of these fun day in the life videos. They're no longer around.
Yeah, and that's specifically what happened with Allison Sheehan. She is the investment banking influencer here.
Yeah.
She didn't here's the difference though. Here's the difference. She wasn't posting any content of like being inside her office and this is what I'm doing. It was all outside. It was all outside stuff, outside of the office. But you know, I think that she was, you know, probably referencing the fact that she was an investment banker. Otherwise, there wouldn't be 60,000 investment banking videos on TikTok. Of course, not all from her, but she got a lot of warnings from her higher ups. I don't know if
Yeah.
everybody at big tech was doing that, but she got a lot of warnings about reputational risk, and it ended up not going her way. One of her videos was showing her like piping lilac buttercream at 5:30 in the morning before she went into the office. They didn't like that one. And she never named that she was working at Goldman Sachs. She never said, but you know, investment banking, you know, etc. Anyway, they pulled her in and said, that's a no-go. You got to delete everything. And she said, well, the CEO, he's posting stuff about his little side quests and side projects. So
Yeah.
I don't see why I can't. And they said, no, not going to work. She got shown the door and now she's full in on her cake business. Now she has a cake business startup. But I think this is interesting because for a lot of businesses, there is real potential if their employees become well known on the internet. It actually leads to more eyeballs. It leads to purchases. Of course, it can lead to controversy, but a lot of times controversy is good because more people are coming, more people are booking, more people are, you know, buying from you because of that. There's controversy. They see you, they know you, they end up buying from you. Investment banking, they're a big no-go. They're not going for it, but this is a common problem that comes up. It comes up in e-commerce. Hey, I want my people working for me. I don't want them to become social media stars of stage and screen, because if they do that, somebody else is going to want them. Somebody else is going to steal them from me. Also, you should be working on my thing all the time. You know, this is like a common tension that I think we experience in our world as well for agency, you know, software people, brand people. If you are not the founder, then sometimes there is some risk to you becoming well known and producing content. But there are a few among us that encourage it, even though it ultimately means that, perhaps their people go elsewhere and start their own businesses. I think CTC is a good example that encourages their people to be very active, create content, etc. But what do you think of this tension, though? I think it's fitting in some places. Like, hey, it's a no-go. They tell them at the door. But I feel like this tension is commonly felt and seen in our space as well.
Yeah, it's super commonly felt. And, a lot of these companies, they worry about that with the exact reasons that you laid out. Basically, the employee gets too big, they have to leave them. There's also this underlying tension of weirdness where it's like, you should be working on my project all the time. And it's kind of like, oh, well, get over yourself. The CEO of Goldman Sachs is a DJ on the side. Like you can just do anything you want in life. Don't worry about, what other people are saying. Don't worry about your coworker making fun of you or reporting you or anything like that. The CEO of Goldman Sachs, arguably maybe the largest to second largest bank in the world, is a DJ. And he's like 50. I think he's like 55.
Crazy.
You can do whatever you want, guys. I mean, just keep posting, have fun with it. Obviously, I will say, don't include client information in these videos.
Yeah, you got.
Don't include any personal information about other people you may be working with. If you're, in the doctor or medical space, always avoid HIPAA. Always use HIPAA and stay within the means and the rules of your space. But just have fun with it. You know what I mean? It's not that serious.
I do feel a little, speaking of the health industry, I do feel like a little uncomfortable when like I see like nurse videos where they like went and set up the camera and then they go away and then they start crying. Like, had someone die today.
Brutal.
It's
That's
like,
one of the most brutal videos I've ever seen for a cringe video.
yeah, it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I think there are like some places and spaces where this is just like, no. This is like, it's a no-go, guys. Like,
Yeah.
You can't film in here. Like, it's totally inappropriate. I get that, but I'm with you on the, hey, out of office, out of work, like, like you should be able to do your own thing in a good sense. And I think the question here is like, is Gen Z going to abide by the rules that millennials largely agreed to, that were handed down by boomers? Is Gen Z going to comply? And I think in large part they are not.
They're not.
I mean,
they're done with these rules.
That's why there's 60,000 investment banking videos.
Yeah.
Because they're generationally, they've endured things that we have not, that boomers have not, and they're just like not down for it. And so I think it's an interesting principle to consider for, in our space, hiring, et cetera, empowering the next generation. A lot of the best operators and best brands in our space right now, they're headed up by Gen Z people that are crushing. They're doing great work, but they may not play by the rules like a lot of us other ones did.
Chris, what is the number one job kids want right now in kindergarten?
Oh,
now
YouTuber.
Maybe
gotta be
10 or 15 years ago, it was astronaut. Now it's, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be Speed.
Yeah. Maybe make me iShow Speed, baby.
Maybe iShow Speed.
Different world.
World.
Let's close out the day with this last story. This is a video from our boy Caleb Sloop at Seek, official sipper of the show. Jack, bring this up for us, restart it, and give us a little volume. I feel like this is an incredibly well done video that does use AI.
But you still search for what's wrong. More tests, more doctors, more late-night Google searches, but even less clarity. Still exhausted, still anxious, still sick. It's your coffee. 90% of the world's supply has traces of mold, poison in every cup. You see a black spot on your wall and tear the house down. But in your coffee, you drink it 3 times a day. But not anymore. 2 brothers watched their mom get sick from mold exposure, so they rebuilt her coffee from the ground up. You questioned everything, except your morning cup.
Oof. Drink coffee, not mold. I thought this was incredibly well done. Telling their story. I mean, captivating, AI, creative usage, but the editing, the sound effects, the storytelling, incredibly well done.
Super well done. I think they could also chop that video in half to do some A/B testing and
yeah.
start the video with the two brothers frame and then go to the rest of it because
Yeah.
it jumps right into their story and who they are. And I really feel strongly about the founder-led content from brands these days. And you immediately attach yourself to them, to their story, to their kind of mission that they're going through. I think if they chopped that, started that little piece as an ad, I think that would absolutely print.
I'd like to see an ad version that starts with the mold in the cup. I think that would be powerful imagery. When they bring that, when they bring that cup up and it's like you see the petri dish and then the mold is in the coffee. And it's like it's sickening, It's powerfully visual. I'd like to see a version with that too.
Just a couple suggestions from a couple old gunslinger ad guys. Just a couple suggestions. Take them if you leave it. But we've been in a couple ad platforms. Worth a test.
I not to brag on myself, but I did get a text this morning that some ads that I made in Q3 and Q4 of last year are still ripping. And I, could be that I didn't just make the ad, but I was the talent in the ad too. Could be, maybe still got a little juice left in the guns.
Yeah. It's like the song, what's that song where, oh gosh, I can't remember it right now, but it's like, I ain't as good as I once was.
I'm as good once as I ever was.
Exactly. Dude, we still got it. You know what I mean? We still got it. We still got some juice in there.
And who's to say what the future will hold?
Exactly.
It could be that someday there's a little Ecomm Cowboy 2-man brand that launches. I mean, could be. Who knows?
Dust off the cowboy boots and get back in the saddle for that.
Dust off my chisos up here behind me.
There we go.
Many thanks to Josh Payne for joining the show. Many thanks to Nabeel, Azeez. Many thanks to Seguno, Postscript, and Incense for making this thing possible. Watch the account. I'm going to be testing some new production that may go live tomorrow.
Let's go.
Testing some new production later today. Colin, give you the last word before we tell our good friends and family goodbye.
Just ball up with your bros today. I'm telling you, it's just a vibes economy.
Vibes economy. Keep vibing. Keep balling. We will see you on the other side. Big day tomorrow. I will say even next Friday. Next Friday is going to be ginormo. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations to Skio for getting bought. And it's time to clod up all your meta ads from here. We'll see you on the other side. Thanks for joining.